Do you know the self-identity that you're actually identifying with? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go through Joburg, and now you're going to get to start seeing me as I'm going more through the southern region of Africa, as I'm visiting more countries. And most importantly, you've been seeing me talk about success, what it is, and how to get it in the three areas of life that I focus on, which are happiness, health, and wealth. Okay, let's see if I can stop this from trying to. There we go. That's a little better. And if you're new to the channel, the definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. And your self identity is a very worthy idea because it can make or break you when it comes to reaching your goals. And so, if you're not familiar with what self identity is, I definitely recommend reading the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz Sr., I believe. His son wrote The Fifth Agreements, which is another great book. But it's called The Four Agreements. And what this is breaking down ancient Toltec wisdom, which is a native ideology and wisdom. I believe it's from the Mexican region, if I remember correctly. And it's a really great book because he actually gives you four different ways you can start working on how you're dealing with your self-identity. And then you may be like, oh, Jason, my self-identity, I know who I am, I'm intact. But the truth is, do you know which identities that you're holding on to that are not getting you to where you want to be in life? And this is what I mean by self-identity. Like, we identify on so many different things in life, and a lot of these things have been programmed in us, such as our religion, how we identify ourselves as such as race, color, creed, sexuality. All of these things are things that have been programmed inside of us from birth. And because all of these identities have been put on place on us, there's even more that have been put on places subconsciously that we're not aware of. And what I mean by that is, let's say if we'll just finish this sentence, money don't grow on exactly. Or you may have grew up with parents who was like, I don't have money for this, blah, 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 I'm not rich, you know. All of these different things, they start creating an identity within inside of us. And when we start holding on to that identity later in our life, that's when it starts becoming detrimental because it's not helping us reach the goals that we want to reach in life. And you may be like, oh no, Jason, that's kind of hard to believe, but really think about this. When was the last time you really changed some of your values? When was the last time you changed some of the things that you do in your life? Like, just for instance, if I told you that you couldn't eat meat again, would you be like, oh no, I would die without meat? That's an identity. I used to hold on to that identity, by the way. I remember when I told myself, I remember I was sitting in my recliner in my 4-bedroom house in DeSoto, Texas. And I told myself, I was like, I don't care how healthy it is to go vegetarian. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna eat meat. I'm gonna die if I don't eat meat. And look at me now, 8 years strong, thriving in life, and I haven't ate any bit of animal products for 8 years. Like, I had to change my self-identity around how I ate. And the way that I was able to do that is I started coming to myself, to the senses of, I don't know how to be healthy. Because at that time, if I knew how to be healthy, I clearly wouldn't have been 600 plus pounds, over 300 kilos if you're here on the region of Africa. And you may be like, Jason, I don't believe that. Just hit me up and I will show you the pictures of how I used to look like. A lot of people don't believe it, but that's who I was. And so when I started reading the Four Agreements, I started understanding that, you know what? I don't have a healthy self-identity. I only have the self-identity that was programmed in me from my family. Now, that doesn't mean they did it intentionally, they did it to harm me. We are only able to program our offspring with the things that we know. This is one of those things where so many people believe like, oh, I'm gonna tell you what to do, don't do what I do. We learned from the actions of the people before us. We learned from the previous generations. If you watch a child, especially a child under 7, they're always looking and analyzing every single thing you do. They're mimicking all of that. And what they're doing, they're just soaking all of that up into their subconscious mind. At the age of 7 is when the subconscious mind closes off. Now, when I say closes off, just think of like, look at my head and like split it in half. The top part is my conscious mind, me thinking. This bottom part is my subconscious mind. This is where the spirit, things like that, this is where all of our habitual programming is. And so because a child is programming all of that stuff, it's like you're writing code. A kid is just like a computer. You're writing code for that child. And you can write code for that child to be the most successful person in life, or you can write code for that child to be the least successful in life. That is the truth. And not only is it the truth, it's the law of cause and effect. Like, it's hard to explain this, but like, a person cannot give someone what they don't have. And so my family wasn't able to give me or teach me health because they didn't have it. And that's just cause and effect. It's not a bad thing. And so when it comes to your self-identity, the thing that you have to start utilizing is your free will. This is the beautiful thing, and this is the thing that separates human beings from the animal kingdom. It's our free will. And what the free will mean is, it's our free will, our choice to actually change the programming that we've been programmed with. Like, think about this. Someone from like me, I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Texas is a big cattle country. People there do not go vegan or vegetarian. Like, that is not what that place is. I had to use my free will. Now, because I used my free will, it didn't mean it was easy. It's not, the free will doesn't mean easy. Like, it's gonna be challenging sometimes. And when I use my free will to start understanding, like, what does it mean to be healthy? I gotta stop listening to the doctors that everybody's telling me about. I gotta stop even looking at doctors that resonate with me. I gotta go to find someone who's saying something so completely left field to where I'm like, man, this person might be crazy. And sure you not, I started finding those doctors. When I started finding them, they started telling me how, like, oh, you can repair your heart. You can actually lose weight very easily. You can get your body to regenerate. You can actually you get your body to start breathing on its own again. I was able to regrow the nerves in my left leg based off finding these doctors who people think are crazy. And it was from that, using my free will, I did something that I was unaware of at the time. I was changing my self-identity. I started identifying more as a healthy person instead of, let me divert real quick. As someone who loves cars, I don't know if y'all can hear all that noise. I am a car lover. I love fast cars. I hate, hate's a strong word. I really dislike when people take a slow car and put a tailpipe on it just to make noise. Come on, people, like, if you're gonna get a fast car, get a fast car. I'm all about fast cars. And so back to that, like, and so when I used that free will to change my life, like, I wasn't aware that I was changing my self-identity. And like, now when I look back on who I used to be, I don't resonate with that person anymore. I don't even see life from the same eyes as that person. Like, everything around me has changed, and it changed because I started changing my self-identity. And that's the beautiful thing about this. Like, one of the biggest misconceptions in the world is people think that we have all been taught poverty is about money. The reality of it is, poverty is about the mindset. What are the habitual sets, the habits that the mind is set on doing? Meaning, what is the things that is going on in the subconscious? What has been programmed there? Because usually, if we go by the whole, there's 1% rule in the world, 1% have all the money, that means 99% of us are not programmed on how to understand money. And even though the real percentages is more like a 80-20, it's more like 20% control the world and 80% are not programmed. And it fluctuates up and down depending on what's going on and how the climate of each region looks like. So, but like, that is what poverty is. It's a mindset thing. Like, what are the habits that is stuck in your subconscious mind? And the biggest thing that helped me, one of the other things that helped me really start understanding that better was the quote saying, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. They'll be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that's a very strong quote if you break that down, because it's telling you we're now moving and transitioning to a plane of existence to where to be illiterate doesn't mean not being able to read and write. Literacy is actually very high if you look at the numbers around the whole world. So many people can read and write now. However, what most of us are not able to do, and what we're not being programmed and equipped with, is how do we change those habits that are just sitting there laying dormant inside of our subconscious mind. And you have to start changing them by changing and addressing your self-identity. And so I'm probably gonna end up doing a master class on this, going very deep and deeper, and give more information on it, and also share with you some books and different passages from those books to where you can just study along with them. So make sure you look forward in the future. I'm going to either do it on TikTok Live or YouTube Live or both, honestly. And I'm going to have that so that way you can be watching it and you can go back and watch it over and over again. And if you've liked this type of content, make sure you hit the like button. If you've been working on your self-identity, leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some of the things that you're doing. Because here's the catch, like there's so many different ways to approach this. And I don't want you to think like there's just only one way, or Jason's the only one that knows how. Like there's so many ways to do this. So let me know what you're doing down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop a video like this daily. And most importantly, just remember this, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.